We are going to do some Ask Me Anything and get into your questions. I asked my shippies, my little rocket ships, to ask me questions that I could answer on the podcast today. Hopefully, I answer one of your questions. If you're struggling with something and you don't know the answer, because maybe I can just share with you that I don't know the answer either, but we can have a conversation about it. Or B, share with you an experience of how I did something, so maybe it can give you one of my best practices that you can go try. Or it could spark an idea within you of how you could do something similar, but in your own way.
Welcome to the Jen Gottlieb Show.
Hello and welcome back to the Jen Gottlieb Show. So happy you're here. We got a solo episode for you today. Super stoked about this one. We are going to do some Ask Me Anything and get into your questions. So if you are listening on Spotify or Apple iTunes, please make sure that if you want to watch me and you want to check out the video and come feel like you're sitting in my office with me, head on over to YouTube and check us out there. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. And if you're listening, though, if I'm in your ear, you're on a walk, you're at the gym, you're on your drive, I'm super stoked and grateful that you're here with me. And hopefully I answer one of your questions. These questions that we're about to dive into came from this morning's Get Ready With Me. You might not know this, you might know, and I hope that you do, but now you know, every morning I go live on Instagram specifically, and I do a Get Ready With Me Q&A. I've been doing this for over 2 years now, every day, no matter what. It's not always at the same time, so you've got to set your notifications on my profile to know when I'm going live. But for the most part, when I'm home and I'm not traveling, it's around 10 a.m.-ish Eastern, 9:30 a.m., 10 a.m. when I'm doing my makeup, and I go live. I put my makeup on and we do Q&A and I answer your questions. And so today, what I decided to do for the podcast is elongate our Get Ready With Me and make it into a podcast for you all. So I asked my Get Ready With Me shippies. I call them shippies because my favorite emoji is the rocket ship emoji, and it's just been the emoji that I use for my Get Ready With Me whenever I post the title. I asked my shippies, my little rocket ships, to ask me questions that I could answer on the podcast today. So these are the questions. They did a great job. And some of them I haven't even seen yet. I just screenshotted them this morning as I went through Get Ready With Me. So I had a blush brush up to my cheek and I was screenshotting with the other hand at the same time, not even necessarily really looking at the questions. So I am genuinely going to pull up these questions without having seen them and answer them for you here in real time without rehearsing, without knowing what they are. So rest assured that whatever comes out of my mouth is it's basically what you would experience if you were getting ready with me in the morning and I was doing Q&A, or if you were just hanging out with me and we were doing a fireside chat or a Q&A or a laser coaching, if it was coaching. But I do have to be sure that I say this before I dive in. There are a lot of people on the internet that do Q&A and they feel like they have the answers to everything. I most certainly do not. And I want to make sure that whenever I answer questions, especially in the format of Q&A, when I don't know the situation of the person that's asking me the question, I'd like to remind everybody that I can only share my personal experience. There are so many ways to do most things. There are so many ways to build a course, for example. There are so many ways to build out a keynote for speaking on stage. There are so many ways to launch a podcast. There are so many ways to launch a book. There are so many ways to have a better relationship with your partner. Think about everything. There are so many answers. And I don't think that there's a right or a wrong way to do most things. I think that the only wrong way is doing it in a way that doesn't feel good for you. So my job here while I answer these questions is to share with you my personal experience in regards to these questions, what I've gone through, if I have gone through anything that is related to the question that you're asking, and share with you what worked for me, what didn't work for me, maybe what I've seen work for somebody else, and my personal experience, but in no way, shape, or form am I telling you what you have to do. In no way, shape, or form am I telling you that I know the right way, and this is the right way, and you have to do it this way, because I'm probably wrong when it comes to you. But here's the thing. There has been plenty of time where I've shared my personal experience on Get Ready With Me in regards to a question somebody was asking, and it sparked an idea within them. It gave them an option. It helped them feel a little bit less alone. So my goal for this today is that you just feel like we are snuggled up on the couch, or we're sitting together at lunch, or we're taking a walk together, we're having a conversation. And my goal is to make you feel less alone if you're struggling with something and you don't know the answer, because maybe I can just share with you that I don't know the answer either, but we can have a conversation about it. Or B, share with you an experience of how I did something, so maybe it can give you one of my best practices that you can go try. Or it could spark an idea within you of how you could do something similar, but in your own way. So without further ado, let's dive in. I'm going to be using my phone here where I screenshotted all of these questions, and we will dive right on in. All right, so Royal King's Life 1, shout out, what's up? You asked a couple of questions, but let's pull, all right, let's just do this, this one. If you could write a book titled, How to Not Do Business, what's the first chapter called? Don't be an asshole. That's the first thing that came to my mind. And let me explain why this is the first thing that came to my mind. I find that there's different types of people in the world of business and different types of mindsets. I've definitely hung out with people and been around people and have heard from people that have this mindset of it's a dog-eat-dog world out there. You're competing with everybody and you got to look out for yourself, and nice guys finish last, or nice girls finish last. And I've seen those people and I've been around those people and I've watched them rise and fall very hard. I've watched them win, but then I've also watched them absolutely hate their lives and become unbelievably miserable. And I've watched many of them think this way. It's a dog-eat-dog world. It's a competition out there. You got to fight to survive. You got to pull the other person down in order to get ahead. You got to be an asshole. You got to be mean. You got to be hardcore. You got to be a bitch. You've got to be, you can't be nice or you will finish last. I've seen that person think that way, live life that way, and then have an experience that taught them that that's not the way to be, having a complete transformation, start showing up the other way, and start living a life that feels fully fulfilled and amazing. I've seen lots of examples of this. And in my own experience, which is the only thing that I will share with you, is that I like to do business with people that I like. Even if there's somebody that is better than somebody else at something specific, like let's say I'm going to partner with somebody or I'm going to hire somebody and they are actually better at the task or better at the skill or have more experience. If they're not a nice person and they have a negative mindset and a negative attitude and they're competitive and they like drama and they like talking badly about people and they want to bring other people down, or they're just a Debbie Downer to be around. I don't mean to say Debbie Downer. I could say Dawn Downer. I don't know, whatever. It doesn't matter. When they're a downer to be around, I don't want to do business with them. So what I've found is that nice guys and gals actually finish first because you get way more, way more sugar with honey. I find that the kinder of a person that I can be, the more that I want to lift up other people around me, the less that I'm on the competitive plane and the more that I'm on the creative plane and the collaborative plane and bringing people up and supporting people and wanting other people to win and being a positive force in the world and not competing, but collaborating, like I said, or not competing and not being an ass and not trying to bring people down or not feeling like there's not enough to go around, but thinking like there's way more than enough to go around. There's so much abundance. There's so many clients for everybody. There's so much money for everybody. Let me support you. Let me help you. Let me cheer for you. The more that I have that mindset, the more abundance and opportunities I attract. I've come from both places. When I was an actress, that's definitely where I had more of a scarcity mindset. It was embedded into my mind to want to be competitive, to think that if she gets the part, it means I can't. It means I have to compete with her. It means I have to bring her down. It means I have to sabotage her. It means I'm not going to be nice to her. We were all that way. And maybe that was a corner of the entertainment industry that I lived in. And maybe there's other corners that aren't like that. But the one that I was in was kind of like that. And what I noticed was not only did I live a very miserable existence at that time, because I was always fearing that someone was going to take something from me. And I was always competing and I was always creating drama. And that just attracted more negativity and drama and competition into my life. But I was less successful than I am now. And now I feel like I've found the answer. And let me give you one more example just to rant on about this question. I've been doing this a lot lately when it comes to really just focusing on being as kind and as nice and as helpful and as empowering to other people as I possibly can whenever I'm anywhere. And here's a really awesome example of how that works for you instead of against you. And this is just super, super simple. When I go to hotels, I always really like to try to make the person that's checking me in feel awesome, because there's a really good chance that they've been sitting there all day. Maybe they've been dealing with people that are complaining all the time. So I want to be a break in their conversations of people complaining and asking them for stuff, and just compliment them and make them feel special, make them feel seen. maybe have a conversation with them that's about them, asking them how they're doing, asking them why they love the hotel, thanking them for their services, just being really, really, really kind and really nice. And we were just at a hotel not too long ago in Orlando where we showed up and the guy was really kind. He was really, really nice. And I was like, thank you for being so nice. You're above and beyond. Can I please talk to your manager and give you a really fantastic raving review for how great you are? And he was so blown away. He was like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. You have no idea how much that means. I've been dealing with a lot of, people that are complaining for the past couple of days. And just this means the world to me because I've just been continuously trying to do my best. And I'm like, you're crushing it. And because we did that and we gave him that compliment and we were kind and we were nice and we asked his manager to come on over and we told his manager how wonderful he was and how great our experience was. And we just went above and beyond to be kind. That guy ended up giving us a free upgrade. He sent all these macaroons and treats and snacks to our room. He made us some reservations at a couple of restaurants that we couldn't get into. He was just above and beyond. We had the best experience. Now, that's not a business example. That's a life example. But that has happened to me in business so many times. Don't be an asshole. Don't be competitive. Don't try to bring other people down. Or do. It's up to you if you want to do this. But this was from my personal experience, what I've learned and what I would tell myself. Be kind. There's more than enough to go around. Be generous. Be optimistic if you can. I know it's hard sometimes in business. I know. But when you can, catch yourself and understand and know that you get way more sugar with honey. And nice guys finish first. Nice gals finish first. Nice humans finish first. Because we're attracted to just automatically positive energy. We want to be around people that are positive. We want to be around people that are kind. And we also mirror other people's energy. So if someone's being really nice to me, it's really hard for me to be nasty to them. It really is. Like, even if I want to be, even if I'm in a bad mood, I never really want to be nasty to anyone. It's just in my nature that I want to be nice. But if someone's being really, really, really kind, I automatically just I can't be mad. I can't be in a bad mood. I have to smile. I have to be kind. And the more we can collaborate in business, lift one another up, kind to each other, the better we will all do. So the question was, what would chapter 1 be called in my book of how not to do business? Chapter 1 would be don't be an ass or don't be an asshole. The end. Okay, next question. Okay, this is great. Georgina Ha 5. She asks, how do you get over the fear of friends, family, and colleagues seeing you speak on social media, page and ads, etc., before being successful? Thank you. This is such a great question. I hear from so many people that are terrified to start talking about their expertise or their business or their passion project on social because they're scared of what their family or friends from high school or their childhood or their cousins or their aunts or their uncles or people they're going to see at the Thanksgiving table, what they're going to think of them. If they're going to talk about them behind their back, if they're going to think, oh, who is she to be doing that right now? Who does she think she is to start a brand or a business? I get that because I had mega fear of that when I first started. It was always in the back of my mind. And there are specific people that I can think of that I'm like, oh my God, what is this person going to think of me if they see me doing this? A lot of them were like ex-boyfriends or people I dated or friends from high school that, this wouldn't be cool. This would be weird. Or who does she think she is that she's going to start doing this right now? That's definitely a fear. It's definitely part of resistance. It can definitely creep in whenever you're trying to be seen and keep you from doing the thing that, at the end of the day will make you feel fulfilled and satisfied once you've started to do it. Because if it wasn't on your heart, you wouldn't be thinking that you want to. And resistance, Stephen Pressfield, one of my favorite authors who is also on the show, calls it resistance. I refer to it often as the inner BFF, the inner blocker of future fulfillment, is that noise in our head that comes in and gives us all the excuses and reasons as to why we can't, shouldn't, won't do the thing we know we need to do. And in this case, Georgina is talking about creating content online. And the fear of what other people will think, especially friends and family, is one of those things that can show up as resistance big time. And it's definitely a normal fear. I talk to a lot of people about this. And how do we overcome it? I don't necessarily think that we overcome fear really ever. I don't think we can completely get rid of it. However, we can move through it and we can take away the power that it has over us. Every time we do something we're afraid to do and we move to the other side and we succeed in that, whether that that success means just like doing it. And even though it was hard and scary and painful and maybe not that great or whatever, at least you got to the other side. Or that success is you did it and something really freaking cool happened. That gives us a little another coin in our confidence bank. That gives us proof that we can take away that power that fear has over us. That gives us proof that we have the power, that we can, in fact, take over the steering wheel and drive the damn car, even if fear is there yelling at us, saying, what is cousin Susie going to say at the Thanksgiving dinner table or talk about you behind your back at the family reunion when you're not looking because you're posting online? I get it. But every time you do it, and something cool happens as a result, that's even cooler than the shit talking that Susie would do, than the bad feeling that you would get when Susie's shit talking, is going to make you prove to yourself, wow, this is definitely worth it. So the way that I do this, the way that I move through that fear, is I ask myself, how do I want to feel? Like, let's not even skip to tonight. So sometimes I say, like, how do I want to feel when I get in my bed tonight at the end of the day? Like, do I want to feel like I did it, or do I want to feel like shit, I should have? Do I want to go to bed with the shoulds, or do I want to go to bed feeling proud of myself? Every day we get to make that decision. And when I go to bed at night, and if I know I wanted to post online, but I allowed somebody from my past or somebody that I don't really care about that much, or somebody that I do care about, but that I let them keep me from doing the thing that's going to A, either help other people, or B, make me feel really fulfilled, or the thing that I want to do that's going to make me happy and it's going to make me create success in my life. Like, I let their opinion of me keep me from doing that. I don't want to go to bed feeling that regret or feeling that should, because I get this day one time. So we can also think about it this way. I also think about, okay, it's the end of my life. I'm old. I'm in my deathbed. I'm surrounded by friends and family. I'm thinking about my life. And this is getting really big for just like a silly little social media post. But one little silly social media post actually is kind of representative of being seen in general as the person that we want to be seen as and creating what we want to create in the world. So do I want to say, like, at the end of my life, wow, I let all of those random people that don't even really, like, that aren't here surrounding my deathbed right now, I let all of their opinions keep me from living the life that I wanted to live, and now the life is over and I didn't do it because of other people? Whoa. No, I don't want to have that feeling. And here's the thing, and I've learned this from example. Oh my God, let me give you a personal story. Are you ready? So in high school and middle school, I was really, really, really obsessed with being popular. And I was never the most popular girl. And maybe someone from high school is listening to this. I'm like, Jen, you were popular, but I never thought like I was popular. I felt like I was always trying. I felt like I was definitely like a thirsty pick-me girl. Like, I wanted to be popular. I really wanted to. And sometimes I was with the cool kids and sometimes I really wasn't. I think that it was just something that I always focused on. And I would do or say anything for the cool kids to like me, to feel included. And this got me into a lot of trouble because I believe that it was one of the reasons. I mean, there were many reasons why I developed a really severe eating disorder. But I did because I wanted to be skinny and cool and popular and hang out with the cool girls and eat the salad with no dressing and no croutons and no cheese. So it was like all lettuce. And I wanted to lose weight with them. And I wanted to get invited to their parties. And I wanted to date all of the cool boys. And it was more important to me than anything else. And there were several girls who I worshipped, who I thought were just so beautiful and so cool, and I would do anything to be their friend. And it's interesting because now I post a lot on social media, and it's not for anybody. It's not to be cool. It's literally just to provide value to other people. And a lot of those girls that I really wanted to impress are now messaging me and saying, like, thank you so much for your content. It's really been helping me. I've been struggling. I've been going through a hard time in life, and I've been able to get to watch you create this content, and it's really helped me. That video really helped me. That thing that you said there really helped me. Or you just speaking your truth and living in your light and doing whatever the hell you want to do when it comes to creating content, and doing it even though maybe you're risking being judged by people. That's inspiring me to do the same. So you never know who you're inspiring. And if I would have just been super, like, just continued to care what all these people from my past thought about me, right? Whether it's the girls from high school or maybe like my family members who I just want to impress. And I was just thinking, man, they probably won't approve of this, or they're going to think that it's weird, or they're going to think that it's, what is she doing? Who the hell does she think she is? And they're going to talk about me. If I were to focus on that so much so that I'm not being seen and I'm not sharing my content and I'm not doing that and I'm holding myself back and I'm not growing because of them, then number one, the only person that I'm hurting is myself. So I'm protecting them to I'm hurting myself to protect them from judging me, from having that awkward moment. And here's the thing. If somebody's judging you, it has nothing to do with you and everything to do with them. Often when, let's refer to the inner BFF again. So this inner BFF concept that I have, it stands for inner blocker of future fulfillment. And I often relate it to, it's a part of us. It's inside of us. It's like resistance. It's the part of us that stops us from doing the thing that we know that we need to do because it's scary. But it's almost like that friend that many of us have that secretly doesn't want us to succeed. And usually the reason that they don't want us to succeed, whether it's in a diet that we have, we want to lose weight, or we want to get a new job or expand our career or start a business or start a social media page or start a podcast. And they make us feel like they kind of want us to, but secretly they're trying to sabotage us because us succeeding at that thing makes them feel inadequate. It makes them feel less than because maybe secretly they have a desire to lose weight or to start a podcast or to write a book or to insert whatever. And they're not able to do it because they're so terrified. And them seeing you do it just affects them. It makes them feel less than because they can't do it. So then they do things like try to secretly sabotage you. They say things like, you look like you're getting a little too skinny. Are you okay? Or like if you're on a weight loss journey. Or maybe they'll say like, are you sure you want to post that? What will XYZ think? Or they'll say things like, you can have dessert today with me. Just have dessert. One piece of cake isn't going to kill you. It's not going to kill you. Come on, just do it. Right? You can start your diet tomorrow. Or are you sure you want to invest in that mentor? I don't think that's a very smart, reasonable idea. And I think that the majority of those things that person's saying to you, what does it have anything to do with them if you do that thing that you want to do? But it affects them in the way of, well, if you start to succeed, they're going to feel alone in their inability to move forward in their life. So I want to remind you that anybody that's negatively judging whatever you're posting online, even if it's a friend or a family member that you love very much, if they're negatively judging you about that, it has nothing to do with you and everything to do about them. Hurt people will want to hurt people. And that's the sad truth. So I know a lot of really happy, successful people, and I know for sure that none of them are going to judge me about the things that I post online, and none of them are going to write negative, mean things about my stuff because they don't have time to do that because they're too busy being happy and successful in their own life. So if there are people in your life that you're afraid are going to judge you for you posting, they're probably not worthy of being in your life. And I am going to say that. There's all different types of situations out there that I definitely, there's nuance to this. I can't fully understand and comprehend. And I know how hard that this whole thing must be. Letting go of people that are no longer, no longer worthy of being in your life. But I think that, it always is really important for me, at least, to do a friendship audit, to do a relationship audit, and make sure that, listen, everybody that I care about and that I spend time with and that I spend energy on and that I actually think about before I do something is somebody that genuinely wants the best for me. And that means that if I post something online, that they're excited about it. They're go girl, go for your dreams, do your damn thing. And the only other thing that I'll say about this is that remember that feeling. So I like to think about this a lot, and I'll just skip to what I said at the very beginning. I think about, how do I want to feel at the end? Do I want to feel like I let everybody else that's not even a big deal in my life, like people from high school or friends and family members that just they just want to talk smack, they let me not pursue my dreams, their opinion of me, their judgment of me. And really when it comes down to it, it's just their insecurities. I let that stop me from doing the thing that I want to do in this life that I get one time. That's the question to ask. So thank you for asking that question to me, Georgina, and for kickstarting that conversation. Official Miller Co. asked, What are some of your favorite things about your daughter? I'd love to know more about her. I don't have a daughter. I have no children. I have 3 dogs. I do have a stepdaughter, and she's wonderful and phenomenal. She's 15. She's just one of the most mature people. She's a New York City girl, so she's got just this confidence about her and this independence that is so impressive. We talked about me when I was in middle school and high school. She's nothing like that. She's so confident. She's so secure. She's so independent. She's just a cool chick and a beautiful human being with a huge heart. She's the type of girl that will text you and tell you how much she loves you and how much you mean to her all the time, especially when you're going through something hard. And she's been there for me my 15-year-old stepdaughter has been there for me during times when I needed her. And she didn't even know I needed her, and I would have never told her that I needed her. But she shot me a text or gave me a call or told me how important I was to her in times when she knew I needed it most, which is not easy for a 15-year-old girl to do, to get out of your own head and out of your own world of your friends and boys and all the things that are going on and be there for somebody else. I certainly didn't do that when I was 15, and she does. And she's such a special, special girl. I'm so grateful that she's in my life, but she's not my daughter. She's my stepdaughter. I don't even like to use the term stepdaughter. She's like, she's my girl. She's my girl. And I get to just be her friend, which is phenomenal and so cool. And I'm so grateful that I get to be her bonus mom or her friend or whatever I'm her Jen. That's it. I'm her Jen. Because that's, when it comes down to it, like, what are these labels? I get to be a really special person in her life that's here for her for whatever she needs. Kayla, what's up, Kayla girl? Can you walk us through building a course or masterclass? How long does it typically take? And how do you stay on track? Yeah, there's so many different ways to do this. Like, so many. Okay, so my way is not the only way. And the way that I did it this time, this most recent launch that I did, is completely different than the ways that I've done it all the other times. So that's the cool thing about being an entrepreneur, specifically being an online entrepreneur, that things change all the time. Your audience changes, the way that the internet works, or the way that I guess you could say the world that we're in, this internet marketing world, what customers want and need, it evolves, it changes. And so you need to be really flexible on how you create things. We often create challenges or boot camps to launch our products. And this time I chose to do something else. I chose to do a masterclass series. But the question specifically was, how long does it typically take and how do you stay on track? I'm not going to go through the whole process of how I create courses, because that wouldn't be helpful and it wouldn't be evergreen, because maybe I'll create a course next time that's in a totally different way. But what I will tell you is that the way that I'm doing Speaker School this time is I'm teaching it live, meaning it's an 8-week course. So those of you that don't know what the Speaker School is, it's my newest online program that you guys wanted. You wanted me to do a speaker series or a speaker program and teaching you everything that I've done to create the speaking career that I have. And so I agreed, and I'm doing it, and I'm going to do it over 8 weeks. But the way that I'm doing it quickly is that, and the way that I was able to launch it and get it out there quickly, is I didn't create the whole thing and then launch it. I created my outline. I knew what the biggest takeaways for my audience were going to be. I knew what they would walk away with. I knew what the problems were that I was solving for people. And I sold it via a masterclass series, which I built very quickly because I'm pretty good with that. I just know the information because I've been doing it for so long, and I know the frequently asked questions, and I know what the problems are of my ideal client or customer because I've been researching that every day forever, because I do these Get Ready With Me Q&As, and I'm always asking my customers what they want. I'm always listening to the questions they're asking me. So I knew what my masterclass series should be because it was just answering their problems. And then the way that we're doing the Speaker School is I'm going to teach each module live. So this round, I'm going to go live every week with my signups, with my students, and teach a module. So the first week will end up being module 1, and that will go into the course that I'm building. And then the second week, I'm going to teach it live over Zoom, and I'm going to build it the second week based on the questions that my Speaker School students are asking me. So I'm building something that they want, not something that I'm guessing that they want. I'm going to film it in front of them, do it live, and that'll become module 2. Same with 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And if there's any extra stuff that think they need to have added in because of the questions that they're asking me or things that are coming up along our journey together, I'll add them in. I'll add some bonuses. I'll be really flexible. And then by the time I'm done with the 8 weeks, I'll have had a full 8-week course. And so that will then be able to live on its own if it wants to. I could teach it live again, but why? Now I can, next time I launch Speaker School, I can make the entire hour that I'm with my students every week be Q&A, and they can watch the recordings of the modules that I did the first round. So that's typically how I do it. I always like to sell things first and create them after, because when you sell it first, you prove to yourself that what you have to offer is desired by people because they opted in, they bought it. And then also it gives you double accountability because you have people that gave you money for the thing. So you have to do it. You have to finish it. I find that people sit on their courses for too long because there's no reason to launch it because they don't have a deadline. They don't have people that actually bought it from them. So I like to sell it and sell it with the promise, the answer to the problem, the outline of what they will get, and then build the details as I go based on the questions they're asking me and the things that they want. In my Speaker School community, the first question I ask them in my Member Up community, which is the platform where I host the community, is what are you the most excited to learn about here? And they started a thread and they shared with me the things that they're most excited about. So I took all of those things and I'm going to make sure that those are all incorporated into my course. And I'm going to use all the Q&A from each week to help me build out the next module. And that's essentially how I will do it. I'll do it this way this time, but who knows? Maybe next time I'll do it differently. There's so many ways. There's a few friends that I have that can teach you how to create courses. One of them is Amy Porterfield. She's got a really great program called the Digital Course Academy. She might teach it differently. And she's been doing this for a really long time. So I would highly recommend that you follow Amy Porterfield for that. Show Up With Me asks, how to build a brand in the development sector. So let's answer this in the way of how to build a brand in general. And there's so many ways. Again, you guys are like, Jen, I know you're telling me there's so many ways. There's so many ways. How did I build my brand? Well, I have pillars of building a brand. And I'll just tell you that the first pillar is consistent content. Creating quality, consistent content is going to be the key to building your brand. And the biggest mistake I see people make is they get an idea, they want to start building a brand, and then they're not consistent with their content creation. They start and then they stop, and then they start and then they stop, and then they take a week off and then a month off. And because they just get into fear, resistance, analysis paralysis, the inner BFF comes in and tells you, again, like answers to some of our previous questions, what are these people going to think if you post? Somebody maybe comments negatively on one of your pieces of content, and you're like, now I can't do it anymore because you're afraid of that happening again. I get it. There's so many reasons why people are inconsistent. But the people that succeed are the people that are in it for the long game. It took me years to build up a brand online. Years. I think that I started posting consistent content with like the goal of starting to be a content creator and building a brand. I think the year was 2017 when I was really consistent. And I didn't have a viral reel happen until 2.5 years later. And that was consistently posting every single day. So you got to be in it for the long game. You got to love the journey. It's got to be, I'm not just doing this once. I'm not just doing this for a month or a week. I'm building this brand and I'm going to consistently create quality content for my audience based on what they desire and what their needs are, and along with showing them who I authentically am, and allowing whoever doesn't want to follow to not follow, and everyone that aligns with who I am and likes it to be part of the community, and to not be all things for all people. So when you're creating your content, make sure you're bringing your uniqueness to the table, because while there are probably millions of people that do the same thing as you, sorry to break it to you, there probably are. Maybe not. If you're very, very, very specific niche, maybe there aren't millions, but there are other people that talk about or do something similar to you. But there is only one you, with your story, your unique different things about yourself, the way that you communicate, the style in which you like to talk about things, your cadence of your tone. Maybe you have an accent. Maybe you're from a really cool place. Maybe you have a really interesting story as to how you got started. Maybe you have really interesting hobbies or things that you like to do, and you throw those in. And there's somebody else out there that's like, wow, I could learn about real estate from all these different people, but I really, really resonate with you because you like to, you like to bake just like me. And you use baking analogies with real estate. That's so cool. That's so interesting. That's so different. So bringing your uniqueness to your content and being more you in today's world is going to make you stand out from the competition. It's also going to help you to attract the right audience for you, the people that you're going to love communicating with and love working with and are going to be really excited to watch your content and follow you and be part of your community. That's one of the pillars as well. So there's quality content, there's consistency, and then there's community. And building a community is much different than just getting random followers. Building a community is like kind of what we have here. If you're somebody that listens to the podcast regularly and you know who you are, if you're thinking, oh yeah, that's me, I'm part of Jen's community. You join Get Ready With Me in the morning. Maybe you've done speaker school, or you've done one of my boot camps, or you've done our mastermind, or you're in our mastermind. You're definitely part of the community. And I'm so grateful for that, because you know who you are and I know who you are too. And it's this really cool feeling that we have where it's like, I know that if I launch anything like a book or a podcast or a speaker school or another program that I launch later, my community, the people that have been following, that I've been serving every single day and consistently making content for specifically and communicating with and connecting with, those are my ride or die. You guys are going to be the ones that want to buy the next thing or help me launch the next thing or share or review or rate. All those things that you want people to do. If they're just random followers that found you from one random piece of content that maybe went viral, that's a different type of follower than a community member. And I found that the most successful businesses are the businesses that create community. So we've got quality content, we've got consistency, we've got community, and then of course, omnipresence. Omnipresence meaning if you want to build a brand, you should really be everywhere. You should really be everywhere. And that might feel very overwhelming for you. So when I say everywhere, it's not necessarily everywhere just on social media. It's everywhere your clients and customers are. Where is their attention? Right now, I would say that the attention is here. It's on social. It's on the internet. That's if you go to a restaurant, you'll see that the majority of people aren't even talking to each other. They're just looking at their phones. So back in the day, the attention was not on phones. It was on TV. It was in the newspaper. It was on billboards on the street. It was on benches. It was on buses. That's people would pay to get a page. They still do, but that's not really where the majority of the attention is now, but pay to get a page in a magazine or a newspaper to promote their business, because that's where the attention was. So my ask for you is, where is your ideal client or customer's attention? Is it on podcast? Is it on TV? Are they watching a specific show or a specific, I don't know, Netflix show? Or is it on Instagram? Are they following specific influencers? Are they on TikTok? Are they on LinkedIn and following specific business owners there? How do you get in front of those people? How do you become omnipresent? So whenever your ideal customer or client is having their attention on a platform, they see you as the answer to their problem, or they see you as the person that they can follow to learn about how to answer or solve their problem, to get value from. So that is what I would start to do to start to build a brand in any space. Personal development, professional development, anything. It really, really stems down to all of those things. There's so much more that I could go into when it comes to building a brand, because I talk about that all day and every day. But the last thing that I'll leave you with is to remember that you are the brand. You are the brand. Not your colors, not your fonts, not all that shit will evolve and change. You might have multiple businesses throughout your life. And people often ask me, like, which business do I build a brand around? All of them. But really, the best investment that you could possibly make is building a brand around yourself, so that's why my show is called The Jen Gottlieb Show. It's not called Branding with Jen. It's not called Being Seen with Jen, because maybe one day I'm not going to want to talk about that anymore. But I want to make sure that I'm the brand. I'm the person that you want to follow. So whatever it is I decide to launch, we're here because we're friends. We're here because you like me and you're on the journey with me. And so I do believe that you don't have to create a personal brand. It's not something that everybody has to do. If you don't want it, you don't have to do it. However, I found for myself, and I'll always just share my personal experience, it's been the best investment of time and money and energy I've ever made, is building my personal brand and taking people along the journey, not necessarily teaching them, but allowing them to be a participant in my experience of building businesses, of building content, of creating things, of living life, and creating community based on like, hey, I'm figuring this out and you can come along and figure this out with me if you'd like, and we can figure it out together. And I am the brand. So that's it, my friends. That was a lot of questions. That was good. I hope you enjoyed this. I enjoyed that. So if you loved this show, please share it on social media. Tag me at Jen Gottlieb or at Jen_Gottlieb. Please make sure you're subscribed to the show on YouTube and on Apple iTunes. And if you have a friend that you think would love this, please just shoot them a text message, send them a link. Be like, hey, you should probably listen to this. And that's a really great gift that you can give somebody else and let them know you're thinking about them. That's it for today. I'm so grateful for you. Thanks for spending time with me. And I can't wait to see you next week on another episode of The Jen Gottlieb Show. Bye.